Hello. So I thought I'd drop a masterclass format of a video for you. These are the accumulated aspects I've learned throughout my last decade studying the adept. How to process frequency and energy. When energy is projected, you are not obligated to receive, if that makes any sense. When energy is presented, there are ways it is presented. It can be presented maliciously, or it can be presented kindly, etc., so on and so forth. It is not your job to take in everything that is passed around. That's kind of like harassment, wouldn't you say so? So when someone presents an energy to you and you are unaware of it or you're unsure of it, you feel conflicted because you're unsure of it. And that comes with the choice of being unsure. When something is unknown and alien to you, it's going to feel odd. It's like saying, if I've been playing a game for a long time and I know the ins and outs of it, somebody else coming in with new minds and new heart to the game, they would not feel an advantage when they're playing against you. Again, this isn't a game of, against and against. No, this is more so collective understanding of where we come from and who we are. Right. Now, all of my teachers before me have taught me one important aspect and one important principle. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Perceive others how you wish to be perceived. So if you perceive another person or others around you to be inferior to you, you are in turn giving that frequency back to yourself. A wholesome sense of mind should be prioritized when you're addressing this kind of sacred act. Lately, there have been dogmatic patterns presenting aspects of enemies fighting back and forth to you, towards you. And the key to being unbothered by this kind of frequency is that understanding others treat those how they've been treated or they treat themselves. This doesn't mean you have to, necessarily take nonsense from other people. By all means, if you need to defend yourself, defend yourself. But no one is necessarily out there to destroy you as an individual. There's so much abundance, there's too much abundance, that there's enough room for everybody to succeed. So the biggest form of distorted information is in fact distorted information. It's quite obvious. Anytime someone's triggering with your neural passages and you don't feel a conscious flow of things, it's quite obvious it's not good for you. Matter of fact, I don't think it's good for the people projecting it either. And in a world where people feel like they're treated unfairly, you can't really blame them for acting how they act, right? Right, but let me get more into in-depth principles that I think would be valuable to you. Your value is not who's watching you, how many people are watching you. Your value is how you're able to receive what's happening around you and using it to your greatest ability. That's your value. You could play the game of, but this many people like me. It's a lot more peaceful not caring at all. One, you're free. You're free from everything. You're free from the whole nonsense. All of these external energies tarnishing your ability to create your own frequency and your own paradigm. And two, sometimes it's better to wait and let waters simmer down before you set sail. Let me show you sight, if I may. If you can see the proper spectrum of things, then you will be able to dissect whatever it is that's going around you. And what I mean is, if you can perceive from where other people are projecting, you start to realize that there's only really one true way of projection. North is north, south is south. If the frequency is vibrating at a high frequency, you're going to feel positive emotion around that frequency. That does not leave you weak. If the frequency is hazy, frequency does not resonate, where is the path for you to walk? Now, if you're watching this far already, that means you want to learn. And for that, I'm grateful for you and for me. As cliche as it sounds, if you come across this video, you're ready for it. And it's all about frequencies, right? Again, I'm not here to teach the masses. I'm here to teach a very select few. Those of you that have the power to see this, you're ready for this. When you glorify a construct, and you don't keep in mind other constructs that float with its polarity, you are disregarding one side of a teetering table. The table will fall. And in reality, you need a solid table for existence to stay balanced. But if a table teeters more to one side than the other, it will fall apart. Now, with this kind of information and with this kind of power, you recognize and you understand the balance around you. Now the student who comes across this video should already know skin color has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter what you are. If you're a false practitioner, you're a false practitioner. If you don't harness balance for yourself, you will become unbalanced. The imbalance of that will cause something to fall apart. This concept of delving within hyperpositivity or hypernegativity does not create anything more or less for you. It only distorts the natural fluctuation within your own mind. Eventually, the individual throws themselves into a pit or they throw themselves into a high-flying frenzy. And I get it. This kind of information doesn't come across you quite often, right? But I found it important for me to share this with you because I care. The why is simple. Some people just care. By now you should already know that erasing everything you think you know is a very normal part of this process. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm just saying that there are certain frequencies that need to be kept in mind. You will resonate at the state you wish to resonate. Not all external frequencies will understand or resonate with you. That's normal. Paradigms exist everywhere. You can create paradigms in any way whatsoever, right? It's like a lump of clay that you can mold into whatever you want to mold it into. And the price can be very painful, even if it's self-inflicted. The price will rip your mind apart and bring it back together if you're willing. Somewhere down this line, when you're dissecting and pulling apart perspectives just to understand everyone's perspective, you start to realize the only important thing left is how you portray the current moment. How you display your awareness to yourself as to how you're experiencing right now. And if your goal is to help millions and millions of people, that's okay. But the people I'm helping are the ones that will help millions. So far, so good. I'm not afraid to admit it. Like my teachers before me, I'm going to leave you with an important aspect to ponder on. Where two oceans meet of different colors, two different densities, they do not mix, they just meet. That doesn't make one ocean less of an ocean than the other ocean. They're just set at different frequencies and different densities. One ocean may be higher in sodium than the other, and another ocean may have none at all whatsoever. But if one body of water is more dense than the other body of water, they will never conjoin. And that is okay. So I don't expect everybody to understand this. But those of us that do understand this, you're destined for greatness if you're not already. And that was the whole purpose of this project, to ascend consciousness. To help the individual become aware of their own greatness. I've already won. No number determines my winning. I have won internally. And from that seed, I create forests. You will not stop me. You will not end me. Because the idea will exist forever.